For this video, I'm going to be looking at every UFC champion's biggest single weakness, starting off with the flyweight champion, Alex Pantoja. Alex Pantoja is pretty good all around, so it was somewhat hard finding his biggest weakness. However, I would have to say his striking defense. Now, that's not saying that it's necessarily bad, but he's great at it. He's a great grappler, so it's not going to be that. He has decent striking, good power, but in his last fight against Steve Erceg, he got hit with the same left hook about 10 times within the span of 20 seconds. It was insane. He relies too heavily on his chin, and overall, I would say that it's going to cost him when his chin is gone, because he doesn't make any uh, changes to his striking to improve upon it, and he's going to get caught eventually. Even in the Moreno fight, he was getting just jabbed up. His head never really comes off the center line, and he gets hit a lot. But because he has a great chin, he gets away with it. So I think his striking defense would be his single biggest weakness. Going up to 135, Sean O'Malley's the champion, and I would just have to go grappling, even though it's very much unknown, because it's not going to be his striking. It's not going to be his speed or his power. So you're kind of left with his grappling. Now, the really only case we saw of his grappling was in the Marlon Vera and the Peter Yan fight, not really, because it was really just his wrestling defense that we saw. But in the Marlon Vera fight, we saw him on the ground for about 5 seconds, and he got hit with a big shot that kind of put him out. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with grappling on him, but it's a big unknown. Ilia Topuria 145 would be his head movement. I mean, this dude all around is almost a complete fighter. He has power. He has boxing. He has a chin. He's fast, dangerous, black belt jiu-jitsu. So it was hard picking one for him, but I had to go with head movement. You look at the Jai Herbert fight, he got caught with a kick because, well, one, he was caught throwing one, but as well, he along with Pantoja, doesn't move his head off the center line, so that's why it's got to be him. Islam Makhachev, the only thing I could think of was cardio, because everything is good, except in those championship rounds, in the 5th round and 4th round, he really struggled with the Volkanovski and the Poirier fight. Volkanovski even dropped him and just beat up on him because of, more so than anything, exhaustion. In the Poirier fight, he was tired before he got that finish. He was tired. So with a fighter like Makhachev, it was either to say his cardio, which we've seen twice of that he's slowed down, or his chin, but he has a good chin. Yeah, he got caught in his first UFC fight, but I mean, he takes clean shots from people, so I would just have to go with this cardio as his biggest weakness. Then Bilal, I mean, it's his striking. He has improved quite drastically, but he's still, I would say, below average striker. We saw in the Jeff Neal fight, he doesn't get a takedown. He gets dropped like 3 times because he can't get a takedown. The Vicente Luque fight, doesn't shoot for a takedown, gets put out cold. If he doesn't shoot for a takedown, he loses. Unless it's Sean Brady, who is just dog shit, I guess, because how do you get TKO'd by Bilal Muhammad? Either way, for Bilal, I mean, great wrestler and has good cardio. We saw in that Leon fight. His striking is not as bad as people would like to think, but it's still not good. So I would just have to go with his striking. Like I said, and this Alan Jubon fight, it was 15 minutes. He gets 2 takedowns, that's it. Because of that, he gets knocked down 3 times. I mean, basically don't get taken down and you should have a clear path to victory with Bilal because the striking is not as good as the rest of the welterweights. Dricus, I would say his distance control, he has these shots where he doesn't know, he struggles with the distance, so he lunges in from super far away and it leads to him getting countered. And then the Strickland fight, the Darren Till fight, even the Adesanya fight recently, when he doesn't find his range, it's just a disaster for him. He's getting pieced up. But because he's able to put a pace on and just continuously go forward, it lessens the effects of him not being so good with his distance. But you look at his strengths. I mean, he is strong. He's fast. He is the jack of all trades. He's good at everything. But he struggles the most with distance that I've seen personally. Alex Pereira, grappling, I mean, it's not going to be striking, obviously. And since moving up to 205, I would say he's got hit with some clean shots against Yuri, and he was able to take them well. And he got out-grappled by Jan Blachowicz. He got out-grappled by Yuri Prochazka. If he goes in there against a grappler, and a grappler just actually decides to grapple against him, he's going to get out-grappled. But we haven't really seen much of it ever since that Blachowicz fight. We saw like half a round of it with Yuri, but I would reckon working with Glover that he's improved quite drastically. So I would say grappling for him because, again, you getting out-grappled by Yuri, it's a good sign for your grappling skills. Tom Aspinall, I would say his striking defense. You're going to be like, what? But honestly, there are no holes in this guy's game except for his striking defense. He relies solely on being faster than you. That is his striking defense, basically, is to be faster and hope that he lands before you do. In that Curtis Blades fight, he was getting pieced up. Like, Curtis was landing some decent shots. And then, of course, they came in at the same time, and once again, Tom Aspinall just lands before he does and puts him out in the first round. But yeah, there's no holes in this guy's game except for the fact that he leaves himself open because he's so confident that he'll be faster than the opponent. And vice versa, John Jones, I'd say his greatest weakness is his speed. I mean, he had to get both Dominic Reyes and Thiago Santos into the later rounds so they slowed down, and that way he could pick up the pace because he was getting pieced up because the younger guys were way faster than him in the earlier rounds. But once it got to the later rounds was when he was able to be on somewhat of the same speed as them and would win those rounds. And then in the Cyril Gahn fight, I mean, if those two had to go tit for tat on the feet, they would have been terrible outclassing for John Jones, I think. So those are my greatest weaknesses for all the UFC champions. Please let me know in the comments, what did I get wrong? What did I get right? I would love to know.